Hello and welcome to my second attempt at the abandoned monastery at Eldfall Chronicle Northern Wind campaign. Last time I nearly got the game. I managed to wound Tenma 3 out of 4 times, and in retrospect I should have stayed with Theros up at the gate and keep a little bit more alive, especially since he has the medicine skill. And this time I'm planning to utilize Theros a little bit more, giving him something like Melting Touch to ignore armor, or maybe even necrotic wounds for Nara to give him Cleave in addition to that, and Poison too, so that he can do a little bit more chip damage. But we will see how well this will go. First of all, as you can see here, when you lose a game, you're allowed, according to the rules, to remove all wound and weak points, but I have decided to keep it a little bit more balanced. I will also remove Nara's mana token, or all mana token, since otherwise I feel like it would be very overpowered to die myself through the campaign. And I still will try to get the Sequented Assault to give Theros a little bit more, opportunity to attack, since here, when that hero hits an enemy, perform a free strike 1 attack against the enemy during the same attack sequence. So still, I intend to pair that with Sagan. But for this, I have to cause a wound to a hostile engaged by another hero. So, with all of this said, let's just give the hero some activation points. And last but not least, Anari. And starting this time, since I know what will be coming, let's just have a quick look at Nara's possible spells. I will go with Soul Leech to get mana token for the first activation. And with this, Anari will activate first. 1, 2. She will not activate first. Sagan will activate first. 1, 2. Moving up to here. Staying where... The correct order of business is Anari, 1, 2. Getting up to here. Removing her activation point previously, so that she can cast the Melting Touch enchantment on Sagan. And since she has the Arcane Step, when casting an enchantment or healing type spell on another hero, you can move 1. She will go here, trigger the encounter 1. It is place a Bone Walker and an Vengeful Spirit onto 2. Here they are. Next we will place encounter 2 and intrigue 1. But before that, space containing at least one hero is hit once with a Great Shot. Each model in this space suffers a power 13. So here each hero still has to make a dodge, except for Anari. She can't do that. So Anari has an armor of 3, 10 or less. It's an 8. Anari suffers a wound, therefore goes down. Each space containing at least one hero is hit once with a Grape Shot Grenade. And the Grape Shot Grenade, as we can see here, has power 13. Sagan will also take the shot, armor 6. With an 18, he only gets a weak point. Theros will try to dodge it. Really? Yeah, he will try to dodge it. With a 2, he trades an activation point, and Nara tries something similar. With a 12, she has an agility of 13, therefore she also managed to avoid it. Better than last time already. Then Sagan will activate this time, removing his activation point. 1, 2, he gets into the same space as the hostiles. And he will attack the Vengeful Spirit. And he has 2 strikes by his own. He will use Second Wind to get a 3rd strike and the Vengeful Spirit. with a defense of 8 will try to defend. It's 16. Let me just put some activation points next to them. So a 16, he fails. Sagan, 14 or less, rolls a 9, a 19 and a 14. With this we have 2 hits. The Vengeful Spirit has no armor, thanks to Melting Touch. Sagan's attacks are magical and have the burn 1 trait. So the Vengeful Spirit, 15 or less, it's a 14 and it's a 4 and an 8. Does the burn does anything in addition? With a 16, it does not. So, because of the Profane Burner, the undead will be destroyed. Next, the skeleton is also hit 2 times because of the sweep 1 from the Stone Splitter. And with a 10 and a 9, both wound this undead. And again, 1 burn. With a 12, it is enough to immolate the Bone Walker, removing it from the field. Okay, next. Intelligence 13 across the board, except of a Neri who has 16. I have no mana token. And Nara has no possibility to get any mana points due to the undead, which are here. So, Nara will 1-2 go into the same space and cast Second Chance on a Nari, 13 or less, a natural 1 and a 6, which is enough to get a Nari up 1 hit point. And then a Nari will walk 1-2 and she will cast. What will she cast? She will cast Melting Touch also on Nara, just to give her a better chance to immolate or to destroy the Vengeful Spirit next time. Sagan will stay where he is so that I can start putting some tokens on it. And Theros on his turn will walk up to here. So with this, let's see what the Chaos deck says. 2 high-tier hostiles recover 1 HP, shuffle into the deck. Okay, they are incapacitated at least. And the Vengeful Spirit gets up. And it is at the strategic phase, even before I draw the Chaos card. Let's see who the undead tries to attack. 1 to 10 at Sagan. Yeah, Sagan. Sagan will respond by defending himself with 2 die because of his Sentinel. The Vengeful Spirit has only 1. And Sagan will use Masterful Parry to reduce the offense of 10 to a 7. The Vengeful Spirit has a natural 1. And with this, Sagan loses the confrontation. 16 and 10. Vengeful Spirit needs a 10 or less. With a 4, Sagan gets a wound. Let's see again. 1 to 10 Sagan. It's Sagan again. And I will just repeat the same procedure. Against 10, Vengeful Spirit fails. And he had 12 and 16, 1 hit from Sagan, he wins the confrontation this time. And a 19 fails to wound. Therefore the Vengeful Spirit gets a weak point. Okay, now I will place the Encounter and Intrigue token. I will reshuffle the Chaos deck before we get into the second turn of the heroes. Hero's second activation, and Nara will cast Soul Leech once again onto herself. And she will be supported by Nari, who will walk 1 space back, remove her activation point, and cast Melting Touch onto Nara. And now, with Loveless Bound, Nara is pushed up to an offense of 17. I hope this will be enough. Forgot to give him activation points to defeat the Vengeful Spirit. Nara will attack, the Vengeful Spirit will defend. Vengeful Spirit rolls a 2. Nara, with 2 strikes, has a total offense of 17. 2 and 17. The 17 cancels out the 2. But still, since Nara's 2 and the Vengeful Spirit's 2 are equal, she will still hit 2 times. Power of 14, ignoring armor, and he doesn't have one, and her attacks are magical. 16 and 7, this is 1 wound. Already the first mana token. And now with a 5, this is also for the burn enough that a Vengeful Spirit is destroyed. Okay. Good first 2 activations, since she has hit and retreat. She will walk 1, 2, 3 spaces and gets a little bit up to the front. And will she not? Yeah. Or will I wait with the Profane Burner? I will wait with the Profane Burner and just simply destroy all undead. And with this, Anari 1, 2. She casts Melting Touch onto Sagan. Let's say Melting Touch onto Sagan and just walk 1. Old habits, you know. Anari puts this away. Sagan 1, 2, 3, 4 gets up to here. Theros 1, 2 stays where he is. Am I happy? More or less. Theros will go 1 space up, and Nara will go 1, 2, just so that Anari is a little bit more protected. With this, I will end the hero's turn. We get a day and night card. We are still at night. Spawn 2 tier 1 hostile space, 1 space in front of the first hero. Okay, that is Sagan. Will the Bone Walker be here? Bone Walker or Vengeful Spirit, 1 to 10 it's a Bone Walker. Vengeful Spirit, once again the roar. 18 it's another 2 Vengeful Spirits, who get both an activation point each. And since here is Black Border, they cannot react. Therefore, the Vengeful Spirit first activates, gets into the same space as Sagan. Sagan will use an activation to defend himself. 1 attack from the Vengeful Spirit, 2 attacks from Sagan. Sagan will reduce the Vengeful Spirit's offense by 3. Masterful Parry. 15 it fails. Sagan with a 12 and a 4 has 2 hits here, and he will need a 15 or less, 2 strikes, and the burn is a 15, which is exactly enough to immediately ban this Vengeful Spirit. Let's see if Sagan can repeat it with the other one. We will do the same procedure. Vengeful Spirit rolls a natural 20, which is not good in this case. Natural 1 and 6 for Sagan. 19 fails to wound, but the 10 does. And the burn is once again a 15, which is once again enough to destroy this Vengeful Spirit. Okay. Lucky turn for the heroes. With this, let's see what I will do for the heroes. First of all, I will once again give them all their activation points. And now Nara will cast Spectral Sight onto herself. Because she has 1 mana token for the moment, that is enough for my taste. And here are no opponents. And Sagan uses a run action to get over the toxic and hazy terrain. Theros will go up to here. Nari will go 1, 2, and she will cast Melting Touch onto Sagan to move an additional space. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Nara will run up to here. Theros will stay where he is, and Nari will cast Melting Touch. Come on, Melting Touch once again onto Nara. I'm just too tempted to do that, because both of these melee are really good. And Nari will also go one space up. And Nara will try to cast Necrotic Wounds on Theros. Let's go with the buffing. 13 and 19. The 13 is enough. So now Theros has Necrotic Wounds. Let's get started to utilize Nara's enchantment abilities, Cleave and Poison 2. So 2 wounds and the poison trait, that poison status that opponents will potentially have to make toughness rolls at the strategic phase or lose another wound. Tier 1 hostile gains sweep and 1 for this hostile turn and shovel it back into the deck. So nothing happens because no hostiles are present. And with this, it's once again the hero's turn. And Nara will cast onto herself Necrotic Wounds just to do a little bit more damage and also put out the poisoned. Yeah. And before that, I just have to think, did these two? Yeah, I think they destroyed here the Vengeful Spirit, so I will put it up there. Will Nara do something? Will she do Necrotic Wounds? Now she will cast Soul Leech to get a few more mana points. And this all starts with Sagan, who uses his first space to trigger Encounter 2. And Encounter 2 is 1 Oni Marauder. He is on 5. Here he is. Bone Walker and Vengeful Spirit on 6. Which is here. Forgotten Hero on 7, which is up here. And all of these get their activation points. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now over 10 spaces it's -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I will start. I totally forgot that the Forgotten Hero is up there. That puts a little bit of a wrench into my plan, because I was planning with Thing going up to here and then Nara and so on and so on. But that is currently not possible. So I will do instead start with Theros, who moves 1 space to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Clear line of sight at the Vengeful Spirit and attack him, who will in return respond with an attack on his own. Thanian Crossbow against the Corroded Warbow. So, Theros against the Forgotten Hero. Theros needing a 17 or less. It's a 14. Vengeful Spirit with an 8 would normally hit, but since Theros rolled higher, Theros wins this confrontation. Power 19, minus armor 6, 13 or less. This is a 9, which is enough to wound the Vengeful Spirit. And I will just repeat this, hopefully. And once again, Theros needing a 17 or less. It's a 9. Vengeful Spirit, let's see. It's a 10. This time the Vengeful Spirit wins. And with an 11, it has a power of 13 here. And Theros has an armor of 2. Therefore, the 11 is enough to put a wound on Theros, who is also staggered, but since he is already out of activation points, it doesn't matter. Next, Nara has Soul Leech onto herself. With this, Anari will cast Melting Touch on both of these, because my top priority is the Oni Marauder, who has a defense of 10. Sagan will activate first and attack the Oni Marauder. This is a 2-slot space, as we can see here. The Oni Marauder takes up 2 slots, so Sagan is allowed to attack from the adjacent square. Oni Marauder has 1 attack, Sagan has 2, reducing the defense to 7. Oni Marauder rolls a natural 20, Sagan rolls a 3 and a 16. Offense of 14, therefore 1 hit. Will he wound? With a 20 he will not wound. This gives Sagan enough confidence to attack once more. Maybe repeating this. Let's see what the Oni Marauder's reduced defense of 7 does. 16, not enough. And Sagan 7 and 18. Therefore the 7 is enough. And with a 16, Sagan needs a 15. It is not enough to wound the Oni Marauder. Now Nara 1-2 jumps next to the Oni Marauder, who's engaged with Sagan. And she will also attack. I will just remove all these activation points. And Anari is also out of activation points. Since the Oni Marauder is out of activations, Nara's Claw, give her a 3rd attack. Since it is an hostile who is also engaged with her partner, she will get her offense boosted to 17. We have a 7, a 13, and an 11. 3 hits, 14 or less to wound. It's a 3, it's a 10, it's a 17. Therefore, these are 2 additional mana points already. And 2 additional, whenever cause a wound to a hostile engaged. 2 additional. Let's see what the burn does, 14 or less. This is a 3rd wound. So Oni Marauder already down to 1 wound. A 4th comes up here, and I will use just one of these to give Nara a 4th mana token. And since it's a synergy card which is unlocked, I can already put it onto a hero of my choice. I will choose this to be Theros, as I previously, partnering with Sagan. So, excuse me. And now Nara will use her 2nd activation to attack the Oni Marauder once again. It's a 7 and a 5, as well as a 19. The 19 fails, but 2 other hits. Natural 1 and 16, and a 9 for the burn. These are 2 additional wound points, mana points, 1, 2. Oni Marauder goes down, and because of the burn, he is immolated. And instead of the Oni Marauder, the superior loot token will appear here. But before I place it, let's see what the hostiles have to say. So placing all of the loot token. Before I do that, I will shuffle the chaos deck and see then what happens. Okay, let's see what the chaos deck has to say. Regroup. 2 different heroes may spend an AP either to remove either a wound or weak point each. Normally I would use it to heal Sagan, but I think he is needed this turn. On the other hand, if Nara is hit, he can use Guardian of Love to get his free strike with square off. So he has the Hanya, so weak points are not important for him, so no, I will not use it, even if this is a great card. Starting with the lowest tier, Spirit or Bone Walker. It's the Bone Walker, who will go 1, 2, and let's roll off to see who will hit. 1 to 10, it's Nara. It's 11, it's already Sagan. And Sagan will activate by defending himself. The Bone Walker has an offense of 11 because of the other undead here. And Sagan will use, once again, Masterful Parry to reduce the Bone Walker's offense of 11 down to an 8. Now let's see what the 8 does. With a 4 it still hits. And Sagan rolls a 3, which is put out of the confrontation because of the 4 from the Bone Walker. But he has a 12 himself, so the 4 is out, Sagan wins. 15 or less. 16 is not enough, therefore the skeleton gets a weak point and will immediately attack again. 1 to 10, it's Nara. It is once again Sagan. Bone Walker, Sagan will use this time Second Wind to get a third attack because he will immediately exploit the weak point to turn one of his attacks into a critical hit. The Bone Walker, rolled, this was cocked, rolled 4. Another natural 1 and an 18, therefore Sagan wins with 2 natural 1s, critical hits, and 17 and 15. This time the 15 is enough. Let's see if Burn does anything. With Burn 6, the skeleton is down, and even if it wouldn't have been, Theros would have been able to use his immediately sequential assault to make a straight 1 attack against the enemy during the same activation sequence. Okay, that was good. Next, the Vengeful Spirit activates, goes up to here. 1 to 10, it's Sagan. This time it's again Sagan. Sagan will use a Masterful Parry to reduce the offense to 7. This is cocked. And it's a 9, which is above the 7 reduced offense, so the Vengeful Spirit misses. Sagan hits 2 times with a 12 and a 13. 7 and 5 both wounds, and the 4 is enough for the burn to also release this Vengeful Spirit. The burn is putting in work this time, despite me not having destroyed the Insect Runner. And Sagan is out of activations. Now, let's see what the Forgotten Hero has to say. He stays put because he has a line of sight to use Marksman and buff his defense up, his accuracy up to 18. And he attacks the closest enemy, which are Nara and Sagan. 1 to 10 Nara. It's a 4, this is Nara. Nara will use a dodge action. 1, 2, getting closer. So, the Vengeful Spirit, 18 or Forgotten Hero, 18 or less, it's a 13. Nara needs a 13 or less to dodge. It's a 16, Nara is hit, loses his second activation point for this turn. With an 11, power of 13, Nara has an armor of 3. She is not wounded, but she gets a weak point. And because of stagger, she loses her. The second attack, a natural 1, I will keep that for this attack, but Theros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 could also react it, so Theros will activate also. With a 14 he hits, and with a 5 he also wounds. Because power 19, minus 6, 13 or less. Okay, this Vengeful Spirit will not get a second attack, so the natural 1 will, despite what I said, will not count because it is down. Okay, and with all this, it's my hero's turn. Let's give them again 1 activation points. 1, 2, and 1, 2 for Sagan. And I haven't placed encounter 3, which would have been there where the Forgotten Hero is. Let's start with Nara puts onto herself the Spectral Side spell, but Anari 1/2, casting Melting Touch onto Sagan to get a third space, and then Sagan will move one space and interact with it. It drops a Superior Loot token. He performs interact action with a received Precious Metal Superior token. With a token receives Precious Metal. So this goes on to Sagan, who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's already full, so 7. Sagan is unable to move. With this, it's Nara's turn. Going 1 here, interacting with Sagan to get the Precious Metal. Nara's next turn. She will try to cast Second Chance, has 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nara will try to cast Second Chance on Theros. And 11 and a 16. 11 is enough that Theros is healed. Nara is out of activation point. Sagan is out of maybe it's easier if I just turn these around to mark that these have already activated this turn, and Anari did it once, and now we will do that a second time to move 1, 2 spaces and cast Melting Touch on Nara, so that both of these once again ignore armor. Theros will use a run action 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get next to Anari. Sagan will activate 1, 2, 3, 4, use a run action, and my heroes will stay where they are, just because I want to be sure that they stay healthy or have more activations once once they trigger the next encounter. With this, the Forgotten Hero returns to life. The Chaos deck says Freezing Winds. We have a weather effect now in play. I will put it up here. Let's just switch this around. And the entire field is considered freezing. If there is another weather effect, okay, it's cancelled. Survival, Scorching and Dark, difficult, no other survival. Let's see what freezing does. Elevation, it's not here. It's also not here as far as I can see it with a quick look. Dense Elevation, Hazy. It's not here. Is it in the... here. Freezing. Yeah, it is my favorite terrain. It is my favorite part. During the strategic phase, a model must perform a toughness roll with plus armor modifier. Okay, it is this thing. Not great, but luckily it is after the strategic phase. So therefore this turn I still have all my activation points. And it starts with the Vengeful Spirit, who targets Sagan. Sagan will try to dodge. Anari will react by casting a spell. Nara will react by dodging, and Theros will attack. 2 attacks, 2 dodges. 1, 2. For Nara, this is a 3 slot space. Sagan and the Vengeful Spirit are in an action sequence. Forgotten Hero hits. Sagan with an 11 manages to dodge, I believe. He has an agility of 11. Yes, he manages to dodge. Now for the attacks. Anari will cast... What will she cast? She will cast Frost. Ice Spikes. Do not use the spike. She will cast Ice Spikes onto the Forgotten Hero. 16 or less. It's a 19, therefore she fails. Theros, Thenian crossbow, 10 hits, 13 or less. Natural 1. He gets a wound. Second activation, the same sequence as previously. Narrow dodge, Theros attacks, Thagan dodges, and Neri attacks. Vengeful Spirit, 18 or less, it's a 3. Sagan with a 15 fails to dodge. And let me calculate. 13 minus 6 is a 7 or less with an 8. Sagan is not wounded and gets another weak point, which is ignored by the Hanya of Divine Protection. Nara dodges 1, 2 next to Sagan. And now Anari with a 3 this time. Power 11, armor 6, 5 or less. It's a 2, which is enough. Didn't expect that. Theros would have hit, and with a 9 would also have wounded, so one way or another, the Forgotten Hero would have been down. Great. Now, do I put the encounter 3 there? It's Breathing Winds. I will wait. I have to. Okay, let's see. Anari has a toughness of 8 plus armor 3, 11 or less. 16 is she wounded, 10 she's not wounded, but she is not able to activate. Next here. Sagan, 12, he's fine. Theros, 11 plus 2, 13 or less, he's fine. Nara, 9, she's fine. Okay. Anari cannot activate. Nara will... I'm thinking about maybe pulling Nara back to the mana, to the Profane Burner, releasing it, or cleaning it, and then coming all the way back to the hero, the Forgotten Hero, and turning him. On the other hand, I have a 50-50 chance with Theros to do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then I have no one to attack the Forgotten Hero. Now I have a chance of 15 or less, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When does Toxic activate? Toughness roll in the strategic phase. Okay. Yeah. Nara activates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to run actions. Sagan just goes one space up. No burning this time. So you have activated 2 times. You have activated 1. You cannot activate. Theros has 2 times. And he's within 4 spaces, so I even could use Soporific Grenade next time. Yeah. Next turn, I need another weather effect. So he gets up, and freezing is during the strategic phase. A model must perform or becomes fatigued. Models with 1 or more wounds must then perform another toughness roll. Or undead immune to environmental. It cannot be affected poison, bleed, panic. Spells with mind affecting are heal type spells. Divine do not restore HP, but instant power 15. Or it becomes dead. Okay, not immune to the freezing. I played it last few times wrong. Toughness plus armor, so 19. He's fine. And now he will attack Sagan. Sagan will dodge. Theros will attack. So let's start with attack against Sagan. Sagan dodges with an 11, the 15 of the Forgotten Hero. So I did that, and Euro. Oh, it's here. And Theros attacks. 15 is enough, 13 or less, and a 4 is a wound. And next, same procedure. Forgotten Hero with a 15 he hits because of Marksman. Sagan with a 4 dodges again. And Theros with a 14 hits because he needs 17 or less. And a 17 this time is not enough to wound. So the Forgotten Hero gets a weak point. Anari freezing with a 7. She is allowed to activate. Okay. Sagan with an 18, toughness 3, armor 6, 19. Okay, he managed to be fine too. Theros with a 13, toughness 11, armor 2, just enough. Sagan is fine. And Nara, most importantly, with a 7. Okay, this time all of my heroes are fine. Excuse me. Nara will cast Spirit Sight onto herself. And then she will immediately activate first because he is no line of sight. 1, 2, spending 1 mana point to cleanse this Profane Burner. And then she will immediately run back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Luckily, she's so fast. Anari will cast Melting Touch onto Theros. And Theros will activate. I will just turn the one leaving around. Will attack the Forgotten Hero, who in return will respond with an attack by its own. The Forgotten Hero with a 5 will hit. Sorry, this is always Theros. And the Forgotten Hero with a 17. Now I have to look up Marksman as a class. Because if it stays idle, it implies that it can do so in its active role. In its during movement step, since it doesn't have a movement step, I interpret this that it cannot activate. So in this instant, it would have missed. Theros would hit. Other way around, Theros needs a 17. 5 would have been beaten by the 17 one way or another. Theros wins this confrontation. Ignoring armor this time, 19 or less to wound. It is wounded, and the burn, also 19 or less, means that this Forgotten Hero is immolated. And this is exactly why I was thinking between my 2 attempts here that Theros with Melting Touch might be a real beast, because 19 ignoring armor on range, that's tough. That's really tough. But with this, Anari will activate. Where I put her activation point? No. So she will walk 1 space, then cast Melting Touch onto Sagan. Sagan and Theros stay where they are. There are no hostiles here, so let's see what Sleet. Okay, that's great, because it's another weather effect. It will cancel out freezing winds. That was not so long as I already had, but it is enough, or short enough, to cancel the weather effects. Now with this, I will wait until my group is once again together. Spirit aside and run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This was her first activation. Her second activation, 1, 2, 3, goes up to here. Anari goes up to here. I will spend both of her activations to cast Melting Touch onto Sagan and Nara. Theros will go one space here, staying 1 behind Anari. He's my backline. And I will just turn all of these around. Now that Freezing Winds is out of the game, I'm far more relaxed, I have to confess. We have another day-night card. And it's a night effect because we are still at dusk. Hostiles gain speed and attacks with hostile this turn suffer -3. Silent predators, but there are no hostiles. Okay. Do I want to send Sagan or do I want to send Nara down this mission? I think I will send down Sagan once again. So all this is more or less ready. Sagan needs more wounds. Okay, Nara will cast second. I think from last turn, sorry, Nara still had activation points, so with second chance, sorry, he would have been here last turn. And now, excuse me, yeah, Nara has only offense 14 as does Sagan, but Sagan has better armor and more wounds, so Nara will cast onto herself the Spectral Sight spell. In preparation now, Anari will cast Melting Touch, ignoring armor, on Sagan and on Nara. I stay with it. Because Theros' power 19 reduced by armor is against the Forgotten Hero with armor 6 still a 13, while Nara otherwise would have would need an 8 or less. So yeah, Melting Touch onto these two. And with a heavy heart, here we go, Sagan. 1. And place a Profane Burner on 8, Tenma in the middle of 30A. Forgotten Hero on 9, which is up here. Fallen Hostiles is no one present, Intrigue Token 2. The hero who triggered encounter 2 is moved to 2. So up to here. On the fortified entrance. And with this, this one is also once again changed to Profane Burner. The second Profane Burner is placed on... where is it placed? On 8, which is up here in the Praying Hall. Here it is on 8. Okay. Now, Intrigue Token 2 is here, I believe. Intrigue Token 2 is placed one space left of 8. Oh no, it is right here. Okay, before all of this, I have to help Sagan. I still have 3 out of my 4 heroes. Therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is the range for a range attack, is it 8 or is it 10? Within 10 spaces, okay. We are good to go. Theros against the Forgotten Hero. Theros will activate, the Forgotten Hero will react. Benma also has... before we do that, sorry, Sagan is still able because it is still, he activated this was 1. He gets a second in on Tenma. Tenma will defend itself with a defense of 13. Sagan will use his second, his Master for Parry to reduce the defense value down to 10. And Tenma rolls a 13. Luckily Sagan did that. 5 and a 13. So since Tenma misses with his reduced defense of 10. 2 hits from Sagan. Power 15. 20 and a 4. The 4 is enough to wound. Does the burn does anything? 16, not enough. So we have the 13th failed. The first hit didn't. 1 wound and 1 weak point on Tenma. So, and now Theros will get into a confrontation. Theros, 17, it's a 20, and the Forgotten Hero, 4, he hits. With a 5, he wounds, and Theros, because of stagger, loses his second activation point. Now, Nara will use a dodge action. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Forgotten Hero will attack her. Dodge against the Forgotten Hero. Forgotten Hero with a 9 would hit, and with a 5, Nara is able to dodge it. So, and now Nara, since this is 2 slot space, 1, 2, 3, and 5, she used a run action to get into contact with the Forgotten Hero. And Sagan will try to put as much pain onto Tenma as possible this turn. So, trying to do the same. Tenma with a natural 20 fumbles. Sagan, 16 and 12. 1 hit, 15 or less. It's an 18. The luck is not on Sagan's side. And with this, they are all turned. Tenma has 3. Forgotten Hero has 2. Let's see what comes next. Chaos card. Run Hero may spend 1 AP to remove 1 wound and shuffle it into the deck. Will Theros do? Yeah, I believe Theros will do so. Removing a wound for an activation point because he has not much to do else. And with this, the Forgotten Hero attacks Nara. Nara will use her Foresight, Veteran's Intuition, to see what happens. So, Forgotten Hero, 2 strikes with its Corroded Sword, 14 or less. 3 and 4 are 2 hits. I will roll separately for the wound roll. 13 and 3. It has a power of 11. Minus 3, it would be 1 wound. And I decide that Nara will respond with an attack by herself. Only 1 attack, because in her defense roll, defense of 12. With a natural 1, she wins the confrontation. Lucky her. She has Melting Touch, so 14 or less. Sorry, she wouldn't have a 12 because Sagan is in a confrontation. She would have only a 9. Lucky 1. And with a 5, this is enough to wound the Forgotten Hero. Is it enough for the burn? 14 or less? It is enough for the burn. This Forgotten Hero is immolated. Second wound, which destroys it. Okay. That was quick. Now it's Tenma's turn. And activation. Engage enemy within 4 spaces, otherwise run. Enemy within 1 melee attack, use hit and retreat to move away from target, otherwise dodge. Okay. Tenma will attack Sagan. Sagan will react. Theros is unable to see, and Nari can see. And Nari will dodge, and Nara stays where she is. So let's do this first. Then Tenma has strike 3 with its attack. And Sagan, offense 15. Sagan will use Masterful Parry to stay alive. So, with Masterful Parry, it's only an offense of 12. And Tenma rolls 3 5s. Okay. That's interesting. Sagan, 2 attacks. I will reroll this die. It's a 5, so at least he's hitting once. And a 7. Okay, the 7 is enough to win this confrontation. Because this 7 cancels out all 5s. And the 5 Sagan rolled himself will still hit. This was extremely lucky on Sagan's part. And let's see. 6 and 11, both are enough because he still has Melting Touch, putting 2 additional wounds on Tenma. And a burn with a 19 is not enough, and Tenma will use Hit and Retreat to move away from the target, which is just 1 space up here. And now Sagan has to weather the storm. Because Tenma activates, Sagan will also activate and use a dodge action. Because he's out of option otherwise. Tenma, 49 and 9, these are 3 hits. Sagan with a 19 fails to dodges, but he's still able to move 1 space up here. Tenma has a power of 18, minus 6, 12 or less to wound. Yeah, these are 6, 8 and 12. Which is enough to immediately incapacitate Sagan, who's down. And now, closest enemy, Tenma will run 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, will he run? Otherwise run, use dash, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here he goes. Now, with this, let me go into the hero's turn. Here we are, Sagan is down, and Neri is up. Okay. First of all, Nara will activate with Intrigue Token 1, and I will just use it up here to mark that there is another Intrigue Token. When he performs an interact action, read Secret Log 7 on 1 to 1, and Secret Log 7 means models on 9, which is where Nara stays, and the tile 26B, which is here next to it, can perform range attack and assist actions on the model on the fortified monastery, where Sagan still is. We see from 9 to the space within Profane Incense Burner on 30, so with a bell tower I can climb down, and a model can move from the space with the Incense Burner back to 9 if it has a climb or leap. So I can go down here and back up. This was Nara's first activation. And Nara will use her second activation to use an assist action to cast Second Chance on Sagan. With an 8 and a 9, Sagan gets up with 1 HP, 2 runes remaining, and he's getting 1 activation point. Here he is. Tenma has 3 activations here. 1, 2, and 3. Sagan will walk 1, 2 spaces back in his activation and shoot at Tenma with his short bow. Tenma will react, and outside of 1 inch, Tenma will dodge. So Sagan, 2 attacks with an accuracy of 12. Oh, there's a 12 and a 14. And since Sagan still has it's a new turn, he has no enchantment on him currently. And Tenma, agility of 14, 17 he fails actually, so 1, 2. power equal to toughness, therefore 13 minus armor 3, 10 or less. It's a 6. This snapshot actually puts Tenma down to 3 wounds. And 101, where was it? When Tenma Blue Yakasha HP drops below 4, 3 or less it is. 120, 0. Let's see what this is. This is also new for me because I didn't expect that to happen. So, her voice, through understandable, carries an unsettling tinge that hints at her otherworldly origin. Her words are laden with authority. Enough! This ends here, or else I will deprive my master of his pleasure. She mutters with a cunning tone. Aomaru awaits you where the dead once found their final rest, if you can reach him. She adds cryptically, her voice trailing off into a chilling whisper. When Tenma realized that you might be a tougher nut to crack than initially expected, she offers a sheath. No quarter, fight on. Spare Tenma, Blue Yakasha, and let her leave. If you accept B, Tenma is removed from the field and other hostiles become distracted, cancelling the state only if attacked. 6A. It's tempting to read it on the other side. I already read the battle continues. Tenma expertly attacks where you are the weakest. It's an Oni. Do I want to continue fighting her, or do I want to spare her? If I spare her, she might come back and haunt me, because she's an Oni. On the other hand, I know that there's an Oni renegade. It's here, or else I will deprive my master of his pleasure. Amor awaits you where the dead. This is really tough. I'm curious what will happen if I spare Tenma. This most likely will bite me in my butt. But I will spare her. I will do B. Leave now. I'm really quite lawful. Tenma leaves. She's still alive. Okay. That was tough. And with this, Anari will convert one of her activation into a mana token. Theros 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and interact with the intrigue token, which tells me that as the divine intent ascends to the heaven, it fragrance and reveals the path to enlightenment, guiding the heart with each breath towards the stillness of truth. When the twin flames of impurity are purified in harmony, the hidden way shall be revealed, and the seeker shall walk in the sacred realm unseen. With this, I have to decide, must cleanse both profane and transform them in incense in harmony within the same turn to unlock the hidden meaning of the sutra, or I have to cleanse one, advance time period by 1, and finally cleanse the second one. I will do A. With this, Nara will activate. Nara had activated already 2 times. So Nara will just go up to here. Hero's reactive turn. And I will have to reshuffle the deck and see what happens then. Okay. Chaos deck is shuffled, and we can we draw Raging Animals. Highest hostile gains 1 extra AP. Reshuffle it into the deck. There are no hostiles, so I will go right into the hero's turn, which means Sagan will run 1, 2, 3, 4, just putting away Tenma's remaining HP, activation points. 1, 2, 3. He will not go into this. On the other hand, it's only in the strategic phase, and he will use his ranger to move 2 spaces further. Nara will go down, cleanse this burner by spending a mana token. Anari will spend her mana token Activated, 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 activated. So that I have cleansed them both in the same turn. Option A, cleanse in the same turn. I will go to log B8. The heroes must cleanse both profane bonus in the same turn. If they do, place private quarters secret location next to the field. Replace intrigue token 2 with intrigue E. Place 1 intrigue E on the secret location. Intrigue E tokens are connected and heroes may move from one intrigue E to the other by performing interact. The smoke from the cleanse incense fills the air of the prayer hall, swirling gracefully as it escapes through the cracks in the wall. As you examine the wall behind the scroll closely, you discover a talisman and a small private next to it. Turning it and unlock a concealed mechanism that silently opens the heavy wooden wall, revealing a hidden personal library. If a hero enters the secret location at one's time by one time period, read 8A below, receive banished talisman superior item. Okay, I will, because now I need 2 hands, I will just put all this up and we will see afterwards what will happen. Okay, with second moved, I already shuffled the chaos deck. Nara and Anari had cleansed the profane burner. Theros will use an interact action to get into the secret location private quarters. So going back here, if you enter at advanced time by one time period, so from dusk to midnight, and read secret log 8A. The hidden library exudes an aura of elegance reflecting the mind of someone both highly intelligent and meticulous. Chefs line the walls crammed with arcane and esoteric texts, their spines inscribed with letters unfamiliar to you, the air thick with a musty scent of aged parchment and ink. In the center, a desk is strewn with open scrolls and ancient tomes, their content a labyrinth of unknown symbols and drawings. Among the clutter, a few pages catch your attention, as they are written in the imperial language, all by the same hand. First except, the sketches depict various incense burners, each intricately designed for a purpose far beyond mere ritual. One drawing illustrates a burner adorned with elaborate carvings, its engravings shaped to channel profane energies, maintaining what appears to be a barrier. Another details a grim process, the infusion of souls into the incense itself. Ghostly forms drift towards the smoldering coals, their essence drawn in, bound to the ember's glow. The notes suggest that the coals act as a preservative, sustaining the profane energy that in turn feeds souls, preventing their dissolution. Second except, this page is cluttered with disjointed sketches and hurriedly scribbled notes. The illustrations depict the dismembered limbs of ogres, each body part drawn on a separate page, as if the creator was attempting to piece together their observations later. The smudged notes read, "The curse ensnare the mind within a brutish vessel, stifling through a self-awareness, leaving the afflicted to languish in stagnation. Feeding is paramount to induce change. The type, age, and quality of sustenance serve as critical factors. Humanoids, particularly the young, yield the swiftest transformation. Consistent consumption of a single type reinforces specific traits in the metamorphosis, shaping the final form. Conversely, infrequent feeding, or outright refusal, hastens petrification during the warmer month, with some cases resulting in an irreversible fate." Third except, the notes carry a critique of Chiyohim, exposing the writer's deep disillusionment with her leadership. Scrawled in sharp, frustrated strokes, a passage stands out. "Her motions are inadequate, her emotions misplaced and erratic. She is leading us into oblivion. I must be free from her bounds, and his. If he returns, none of us shall know freedom again." Fourth except, Hastily written note is addressed to one referred to as Lieutenant Tenma. Bring forth all wounded ogres and warm bloods to my study in the village. We will begin our tests promptly. Surround the study with death flowers and banishing talismans to ward the humans from the undead in our absence. It is our utmost importance we succeed this time. See to it at once. Open reading. Signed, Aumaru. The heroes obtain esoteric scroll of condemnation, legendary item. Okay, that's interesting. I will search for this, put it down, and before that, let me just finish this turn. Theros will go 1, 2, 3 up to here. Nara will climb up 1, 2, 3. Anari will go 1 space next to Theros. Sagan will use his ranger to go up here. As I said, I will search for the legendary item, and then we will continue with the hostile or the chaos turn. Okay, here we have the esoteric scroll of condemnation, and when equipped, the wearer becomes the target of all hostile behaviors. All enemies must reroll successful damage rolls against the wearer. I have given that to Nara for the moment, because she has the inventory slots. And this might be even quite interesting, because she will be the target of attack. Sagan can use Protector because of his Guardian of Love, and in combination with Square Off, for free on Nara. And this will use the Sequented Assault from Theros, who, when the hero hits an enemy, perform a 3-stroke 1 attack against the enemy during the same activation sequence. So basically, by making Nara the target, I can get 3 activations from Sagan, which in return triggers 3 activations from Theros. This might be an interesting idea. I might try to put to the test. We will see. So, with all this done, let's see what the Chaos deck will say. Erratic mana. Until the next hostile phase, whenever you cast a spell, they suffer a confused state until the next state at the end of the activation. Okay. Nothing too exciting. With this, Theros, Sagan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1. They stay where they are. And Sudden Ambush. Spawn 1 tier 1 hostile on the space that has an intrigue token and is closest to the entrance. If there are no intrigues, spawn the hostile 1 space behind the last hero. 1 to 10, it's a Bone Walker. It is not a Bone Walker. Here it is. Okay. The Bone Walker will go into the same space as Sagan. Sagan will defend himself. And once again, he will reduce the offense of the Vengeful Spirit to 7. With a 2, the Vengeful Spirit will hit. 11 and 19, Sagan hits. Unbuffed, he needs a 7.5, so therefore an 8. It's a 7. The Spirit goes down, and since there are no Profane Instant Burner, I will just remove it. Especially since on this turn, Anari, Theros, Nara, and Sagan will exit the field. And with this, I believe, quest ends when all heroes leave the field through exit. If there are no more profane burners present when the heroes exit the field, receive green Fate L. If you defeated Tenma, receive Fate B, which I did, and Precious Metals, and another one. You secure the passage behind the prayer hall before departing, sealing off the path to any pursuers. The mist-cloaked trail stretches before you as you resume the journey and head towards the Ligi pathway? Don't know. It is this one. And just putting in quick reference sheet. Coming back to the front. We were at the abandoned monastery, and now we have 2 events before we go to the EG path. And with this, I would clean up the board, get the fate tokens, and then we will do the events. See you then. I just noticed before while cleaning the board or right at the start that Sagan has still 2 wounds. So, since Nara had time, or 1 turn, before they would leave, she will try to cast... she will try to cast Second Chance. 4 and a 13. These are 2 successes. So I do not have to spend an additional turn to heal Sagan. I just wanted to record this for the sake of completion. And now I will clean up the board and then we will do the events. Okay. Now, with the board cleaned, hero item inventory, other matter, we will go from the abandoned monastery up the first time period. So this is for finishing the quest. Now, during daytime, our first time event, Night Terror. You drift into uneasy sleep, shadows twist into vivid nightmares, monstrous Oni faces emerge from the darkness to torment you. Legends warn of their power to invade dreams. Choose a hero, the hero suffers -2 offense, defense, accuracy, intelligence, and agility for the duration of the next quest. Oh, that's a horrible debuff. I believe the one least impacted by this will be Nari, simply due to freezing winds go on toughness plus armor, which is not affected, and with her intelligence she doesn't need to roll to enchant other teammates because she's an enchanter. I will put this on Nari. That's horrible. But that was our first event. And also we have to advance our time by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days to play around. Now we are here. Next event. During daytime. Tormented souls, release us, release us, release us. What began as a faint murmur in the wind a few leagues back has grown into a hauntingly insistent chorus, the voices overlapping in an unyielding request. Find the source of the sound. During the next quest, heroes may perceive within 5 spaces of the exit. On a successful roll, place Intrigue E on the space with the hero and read E08, page 150. Quest with Relentless Dead. Apply this rule in the next quest. Do not remove dead or incapacitated hostiles. As a result, so 3 of the hostile, all undead hostiles in the dead state resurrect, regaining. Steer clear of the sound and find a different path. Advance time by 2. Absolutely not, I will do this. This sounds like fun, especially I expect that the Restless Dead rule is nevertheless in place. I will so go with it. And with this we have resolved our second event, going an additional time. And we will go with the EG pathway, I believe it is pronounced, on the next turn, on the next game. And we will be here. Afterwards, we will have the choice again to go near Old Cemetery or Sacred Grove. But the Old Cemetery, there were hints that this might be, this might be interesting. Old Cemetery, we read some interesting aspects about it. Or we go to the EG Village. And I believe we will visit both in the future. But which order, we will see after, hopefully, my next video, where I will manage to defeat the EG path. Until then, have a great day and bye!